buzzing from last night, from the last week, actually. And finally, we are home. Home sweet home. The TD Garden is up and running with NHL hockey again in the regular season. Tonight, it's the home opener for the Bruins, who started their season with a win last night in Washington. 3-1 the final. They are taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Elias Lindholm, one of the goal scorers. Morgan Geekie as well. And the guys are getting ready to open up in front of the fans. And with that, we welcome you to Bruins Face Off Live, presented by Plymouth Rock. Auto and home insurance for Boston sports fans. Sophia, Billy, and Barry here with you from our Wasabi studio at TD Garden.
How come you didn't make him do the mirror selfie or whatever? How come?
Because we don't have a mirror here. So yesterday, Barry, Barry's not on Instagram, I'm assuming. But Barry, I made...
Oh, he's an Instagram legend.
I made Billy and Razor take a photo with me, a mirror selfie. You know what a selfie is, at least? You do know?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway.
I have children old enough for that, yeah.
Anywho, you get spared. But next time you're at the NESN studios, be prepared.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
Listen, it's only one game. And Barry, I want to start with you because you weren't with us yesterday. It's only one game, but way better to be up one than down one, despite not enough shots on net and maybe a little better discipline, too many penalties. What were your thoughts on their opening game?
Well, I just thought from the constructive side, it was a continuation of what I saw in training camp as far as improving on a daily basis, Billy. I thought their team structure was better.
Yeah.
And still lots of room for improvement, but it was heading in the right direction. Specialty teams, much better, especially penalty killing early on in the road. Had to kill off 5 penalties in the first 2 periods, and one was a 5-on-3. That was excellent. You got great goaltending. He was just spectacular. You see he was locked in. And maybe the only negative that I have on my 4 things that I want to see this year is no secondary scoring. But with so many penalties against you, it takes a lot of your second line off of that offensive, because as soon as the penalty's over, you're going back with the number 1 line. Zaka's a killer, and
right. Well,
you just don't get enough.
Zaka's a killer, so 2/3 of that second line doesn't. You're talking 11, 12 minutes. And they need more. There's no question they still need more. Arvidsson had a couple of chances. We like that. We touched on that.
We did.
You know, we'd still like to see a little more from Casey Middlestat, that number 2 C slot. Let's see what happens there. I like the 3rd and 4th line. You look at the 4th line numbers. If you're into the analytics game, holy smokes, did they do a nice job. You know, the Corrali line, I think 5-on-5, if memory serves correct, was 9-3. Shots 4 against, so really good stuff from that line. Corrali had a nice game, just under 15 minutes. A lot of PK time. 3rd line, you know what? I thought Mitten's line did all right. They showed themselves. AC Mon, et cetera, good first game. A ton of improvement, which we know. I'm looking, if they had lost, we'd say even more improvement. But the fact that they won and the fact that they did it without, even though they got outshot, and I don't disagree, you'd like more shots, but they did it without feeling like, oh no, they're going to unravel.
Or
you didn't have that feeling, right? At least I didn't have that feeling of, oh, holy smokes, here we go again. They held with it.
Don't you think last year they would have had trouble winning that game?
That's my point. Yeah. No, last year would have been a gong show.
Correct.
It would have been at the end. It would have unraveled.
Guys, I have stuff to get to over here. You guys are pretty much doing the whole show. Save it. Give me a second. We have a board to get to.
Hurry up and catch up.
But listen.
Come on.
All right, guys, let's show you the last year's ranks. We do want to go back because we're going to be comparing, hopefully for the last time. But we're obviously sensing some improvements over here.
This is the downer part of the show.
I know. I'm going to let you take this.
All right,
go ahead.
Well, listen, shots per game, 29th. Oh, my God, all of these ranks are bad. Tied for 27th with goals per game. Penalty kill and the power play we know was struggling. We were not used to seeing that with the Bruins before last year. But anyway, as we look at this, you guys already got into it at the start, but can we just go over the expectations for the season as we look at last night, what we saw in terms of these stats against the Capitals, but the expectations based off of one game and the offseason moves that they've made?
Well, I mean, but that's 2 different things. Based on, let's start with just the expectation.
Yeah.
We know coming out training camp, Barry, that we said it, everybody said, it's going to be a workman-like team. It is not going to be, they're going to be faster. They already look faster, I'll tell you that, skating-wise. But it is not going to be a fancy, high-flying team that's going to, at times, maybe outside of Pasternak and 2 or 3 other guys, get you out of your seats because of, oh my God, they just did an unbelievable play. But what might get you out of their seats is a big hit, is a great defensive play, is workman-like attitude that these fans here not only respect, but they deserve. They absolutely deserve that type of attitude there. So if that's the type of team they have, we've said it off and on air, partner, it's going to be a grind fest at times this year because they have to get back to structure. Structure isn't always fun, but it sure can be effective.
No, and it's the backbone of this organization. Right. It's what's made this team and this town so excited over the years, where they've been so competitive because they have always played so well defensively as a team. It's not just one or two guys. It's a team, and one of their goals this year, which I think they have to get back to, is being that tough team to play against. And that doesn't mean you're running everybody out of the building, as we always say. What it means is we saw a little bit last night where you're able to take a pretty young Washington team that had a really good year last year. It's got some great skaters, and what do? You take away ice, and you start to slow them down a little bit. And now all of a sudden, you're looking even a little bit faster because you're taking your opponent down a bit. So that's going to be the number one thing for me, is to be a more difficult team to play against with really good structure.
They didn't seem to get intimidated, and I felt like last year they did at times too. Is that a result of not just Kastelik, but Janot and Asimont, Zadorov, a healthy Mac? By the way, Charlie McAvoy, I'm not going to be as physical this year. What do you have, 7 hits?
Can you save this for the end of the show, please, sir?
I thought you're busy at the end of the show.
We have Razor standing by, and that's where we're going to go.
That's Razor standing.
We're going to go from the view to the booth, presented by Oakers Technology, as we welcome in Razor. Razor, they're just jumping ahead the whole show, but you are going to be talking about head coach Marco Sturm. You were obviously on set with us in NESN. We were talking about that. Yes, it's just one game, but it is a big deal. 1 out of 82, your first job as a head coach in the NHL. Marco Sturm gets the win on the road, and you're kind of recapping that moment for us.
Well, thanks for taking over up there, Soph. I'm freezing down here. My dinner's getting cold in the back room, but we'll talk Marco Sturm. He's excited. He's happy. He was just down in the locker room talking to the reporters. I got to see him quickly. Happy the first game's out of the way. But you guys touched on it already. The discipline, the structure of this team. He was here at the very start of that when Claude Julien came and Zdeno Chara implemented that kind of structure. Has been here for 15 years. Went to a Los Angeles Kings organization that is very much similar. He knows exactly what he wants to do. He was happy the way his team played with it last night.
Yeah, it feels great. I'm exhausted though, but no, it's just. I said it before. It's the moment I was waiting for, and to grab a win on the road at a tough place like here, it's even better. And on top of it, for the most part, they played exactly what we worked on. They played exactly how I wanted them to play, and that makes me happy. It means a lot, right? It's you work so hard and you waited and it's not just me. I think about the people who helped me, my family who helped me to get to this point. It took a lot, and so that puck. It's definitely not just for me. It's for all of us.
So it was great feelings for Marco Sturm, the coaching staff, the entire team last night. But as we know, the NHL keeps rolling, and today is a whole different day. They have an opportunity to choose that structure against a high-flying, offensive, talented team that has their own structure issues. They could really take advantage. This feels like a must-win, like it does every night as this NHL rolls. So again, great feelings last night, but the mark of good teams is to be able to do it on a consistent basis night after night after night.
Yes, and it would be nice, what a bonus to do it for your home opener. Razor, thanks so much. We're going to hear from you later on when you do your bench interview, and we're going to turn it to goaltending, even though Razor's not on the panel with us. But Barry, Jeremy Swayman looked excellent, and he stopped 35 of 36 shots. What did you make of his play?
I think looking excellent, I think, is putting it mildly. I think as we continue, as we started this show, Billy, talking about training camp and continuing to improve. I thought he got better as camp wore on. I thought his last game against the Rangers, he was really good. He even looked more locked in last night. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact you've got that defensive structure in front of you. It looked like it allowed him to track the puck properly, better up to his level, and just lock right in at the shooter and not worry what was going on the periphery.
Yeah, I watched the condensed version of the game today just to go over it like I like to do. And, he had 3-4 saves. that were, as you like to say, very easy looking because of his position.
Yeah.
And he didn't, burp up any rebounds there. He was very effective in that regard. Didn't have a lot of chance to handle the puck, which was all right. And therefore, I felt like he stayed within himself, so to speak, in that regard. And it's very important to see, and there's no question. I mean, you have him, and then you had that guy named Pasternak lead the way. 2 stars that you need to do that.
And I think the other thing, too, is underrated last night was the fact that you have a team that's trying to find their identity. We talked about what we'd like to see them get back to. It really has a way of calming a team when you see a goalie out there making it look that easy and kind of maybe picking up from a defenseman makes a mistake. He makes a save. Okay, good, thank you. And you could kind of feel that the team kind of relaxed a little bit because your goalie's not flipping, flopping all over the place. He made it look easy.
That's how I make you guys feel, right? Relax, calm when I steer the ship.
I wouldn't necessarily go there, but that's all right.
I'm just kidding.